2021 and 2022. Looking to do the same this year, but a roadblock standing in their way today in the form of Wake Forest as we get going here from Pittsburgh. Fairbanks outside, Babcock into the block to start things off. Babcock attempt number 2, and that finds the court. First kill of the day belongs to Olivia Babcock, someone whose name we're going to say a lot today.
Oh,
Kelsey.
Exactly. And I love that Pitt starts her in 4, so she starts swinging on the outside, even though she is a predominantly right side hitter. But it's great to have that big body on the outside to start.
And we said it a lot this season, but it's still really hard to believe. Olivia Babcock, Tori Stafford, both freshmen, having huge impacts for a top 10 team in the country.
Oh my gosh, they've just come in and you wouldn't have even known that they were freshmen. And Coach Fisher even said, he's like, I don't really see them as freshmen anymore at this point in the season because of how much experience they have at this point and how well they've been playing.
Attack wide there from Ava Carney. 2-0 in favor of the Panthers. Vasquez Gomez still to serve as you see Babcock coming off of an unbelievable performance against Virginia Tech. Another sweep for the Panthers in that one, where they looked really spectacular throughout. Outside set for Stafford. Nice dig there from Farrell to keep it alive. Going back to the outside with Ava Carney, and she picks up her first kill and Wake Forest's first point of the afternoon. Ava Carney, sort of a homecoming for her. The Pittsburgh native coming in and able to get Wake Forest on the board here.
Great up by Farrell, but then also that's Ava Carney swinging on the right side over there, taking a nice shot down the line. You're going to need her to be firing today.
Fairbanks set for Monks. Nice dig there by Adams to keep it alive. Stafford again.
Great swing there. And I think what's great about that, too, is you get that overpass from the Wake Forest dig, and then you just go into a 3-option offense. And look at this. You can just lead right into it. So the middle has to hold, and then you get a one-on-one on the outside. Easy. That's easy for Tori Stafford.
See the swing from her. Just not something you see a whole lot out of a freshman, as the aforementioned Kat Flood celebrating her senior day into serve. Primarily used as a serve specialist. Extremely valuable in last year's NCAA tournament as well. Nice play to keep it alive. Wake Forest able to get it back to the outside, but countered there by the Pitt block, but they're able to tool it as it goes out of play.
Yeah, and that's a nice move. That's going to be something that you're going to need to do against a block that is this big like Pitt is. Wake Forest is going to have to learn to use it. And then you see how important those second chance opportunities are. That's like getting an offensive rebound.
We were talking about Emmy Agogra up front as well earlier on. Able to maybe try and counter that Pitt block. We really haven't seen it much this year. Pitt leads the nation, or excuse me, second in the nation in blocks per set. Pitt gets the point there, up 4-2 now after Babcock doubles their lead.
Yeah, and I mean, she's just so dominant in almost every facet of the game. Just watching her is incredible.
Babcock, the native of California, is a couple players from California will be saying a lot over the course of this game. Obviously, Babcock and Stafford. And there's the serve from Babcock.
There it is.
You talk about how dominant that serve is, and she's had some issues with controlling it so far this season, but when it's working, it's as good as anyone in the country.
It's incredible, and I like to think of it, to me, the way you got to think about it is like a fastball. You know, if it's 90 miles an hour and down the middle, it's probably going to get hit out of the park. But if it's 95 plus with a little bit of spin, it is so hard to deal with.
Into the Pitt block. Once again, Wake Forest tooling that block on the right side there. Nice job there from Ashley Slater, someone who we talked a lot about this week in the coach calls with Randy Smart, someone who's coming back to this program and really someone providing that leadership.
Yeah, had a back injury, and now she's come back, and she was used immediately once she was available, so she's a big part of this team, and Coach Smart was excited to have her back.
Babcock in the middle. Whew. Great dig there. Fairbanks outside looking for Stafford. Throws the changeup. Another really nice dig from Wake Forest. That time it was Torrance. Still alive. Outside into the block. And Fairbanks gets up and finally finishes that point off for the Panthers. Really nice job from both teams there. But Pitt able to get the last lap.
Great rally. Great up. I mean, Emma Farrell, you cannot talk about her enough. She's so, so good. And then, pancake. Got the pancake there. They just couldn't get the finish of that play.
Torrance and Farrell doing a really nice job on the defensive side of things. And a service error there from Pitt.
Yeah, and Wake uses a lot of D-spec, so that's something that's very different between the two teams. You see Olivia Babcock right now in the back row they use almost all of their pin hitters 6 rotations, and the only 6 rotation hitter is who is serving right now, which is Paige Crawford.
Crawford, the sophomore from Texas, was the team leader in kills her last season as a freshman, but Vasquez Gomez able to get the point back for Pitt. Vasquez Gomez also announcing a couple days ago that she'll be coming back next year, just fortifying this Pitt core. She's been here for a while now. She's been in those postseason runs. And to get her back for another year, are you kidding me? With this young core?
That's huge. And then again, it just adds to the depth like we talked about earlier. You just have so many players that are so, so valuable.
Gianmarco Wokolo to serve. Outside. Serve to Vasquez Gomez. Nice block there. Agoger and company.
Really nice block. I love the hands there by Wokolo, but it was a little tight, kind of led her into the block there, a little bit of a trap set. Clean hands, though. That's a clean play, nice and pretty, but it was a little tight. Vasquez Gomez doesn't have much she can do with that.
Agoger, the 5th year from San Antonio, Texas, has been at 2 schools prior to Wake Forest, transferred from West Virginia following the 2021 season, and also started her collegiate career at Illinois State. Outside Babcock, strong swing and another nice dig there from Paige Crawford in the back. And that one gets down. Looks like a bit of a loose ball there on top of the net, but Kearney finishes it off. And Dan Fisher's going to use a timeout here. And we'll be back in a minute here from Pittsburgh. Having one of their best seasons in program history. Had 17 wins last season, which was their most since 2010. And are only 2 wins away from passing that so far this season.
I love what Coach Smart has done with this program and really trying to change that culture to not just being about wanting to compete, but wanting to win these big ACC matchups.
And they've done a really nice job in ACC play so far. Took Georgia Tech and Louisville both to 5 sets. When you think about the ACC, it's really those 3. It's Pitt, Louisville, and Georgia Tech in the cream of the crop there. And they've done a really nice job against both the other opponents. Weren't able to get wins, but certainly a team still on the rise.
Yeah, and those 5-set matches mean a lot to the program. You know, they're showing that they're in these matches. And Coach Smart talked about it. Now it's about getting over that hump, believing that they should be winning these matches.
Fairbanks to serve. Outside Kearney. She's getting a lot of action early. Great dig there from Click on the receiving end. Klicka keeps it alive near the scorer's table again. Free ball now for Wake Forest, though. Kearney again. Stafford in the middle now. Another really nice dig. Wow, Wake Forest doing a really nice job today from the defensive side of things. And a block there, and Wake Forest able to get the point. We've seen that a couple times where these points have gone back and forth. Wake Forest taking advantage early on against a top 10 team in the country. Yeah,
really good rally so far and great defense by Wake Forest. I mean, across the board, that's what you're looking to see, is especially if you do have these girls that are D-specs back there like Ava Torrance, that is what you want from them. You want them cleaning up anything that comes over.
We're going to get a challenge on the play here. See about a potential net violation here up in front. Didn't see anything really initially there, but...
Yeah, I'm assuming that would have been on that last swing.
A lot going on there on both sides on that point.
Yeah, that's a long rally to find one net violation.
It felt like there were a few times there when both teams kind of had to scramble right at the front of the net with Klicka and Vasquez Gomez on one side and then with Kearney on the other side.
Yeah, and both teams look good on defense, but they also look good in coverage. So whenever your own team's hitting, getting that ball up.
So this is where it is. Great look here from our crew. I don't see anything there.
Do you see any? I don't think so.
It's certainly close, but this is going to be certainly tough to overturn.
Yeah, it has to be clear and definitive, right, to overturn.
So we'll see the call, and there is no net violation there. So Pitt will win the challenge. And we'll go to 9-6 now. Fairbanks still on to serve. Both teams will, obviously, Dan Fisher winning that, keep his challenge. They'll still have 2. As Pitt serves here with Fairbanks. outside, really nice job again. Dior Charles able to get her first kill of the afternoon. Another one of these players from California that we'll talk about doing a really nice job there and picking up the point.
Yeah, and another freshman.
Yeah.
Another freshman coming in, making an impact. I love her athleticism up front, her mobility side to side.
Fairbanks set back to Vasquez Gomez, a little bit out of order there, but able to recover. Now Wake Forest to the outside again, and Klicka again with the dig, but unable to keep that one up as Wake Forest cuts down that lead to 1.
And that was a nice play there by Slater. That was a tight set, a little bit further outside the pin. She really only had one shot, and that was to throw it back in, and she did just that.
Slater leading Wake Forest so far with 3 kills. And the seasoned veterans on this team coming up today and playing a big role in this first set so far. There's Monk's long. Wake Forest ties it up at 9, so a pretty strong first part of the first set here for the visitors.
Yeah, Wake looks good, but this is also what we've been seeing from them in these big matches. They are competing, they're making a name for themselves.
Here's Ryan Baker to serve for Wake Forest, and that one misses long. And you're on the road against the top 10 team in the country. Those are the kind of errors you want to eliminate. You're going to have some of those attacking errors, you're going to have some of those service errors, but cleaning up on those little things is going to be what Wake Forest is able to do if they're able to pull out a fun upset today.
Absolutely. If you're trying to pull off an upset, you have to play your best game, and like you said, your cleanest game.
Here's Vasquez Gomez again. Coming off a game where she hit over 770. That's not a misprint. Monk's a little off balance there, but the changeup works, and she picks up her first kill of the night.
Yeah, a little bit of a paintbrush there where it kind of looks like it only scraped off of about like the tops of her fingers, but sometimes those are the ones that get kills.
Someone we talked about in the Open pretty extensively there. Graduate student native of Louisville, Kentucky. Strong swing there from Carney, even better dig though from Fairbanks. Another nice dig from Farrell, and Wake Forest is able to get the point there. Really strong defensive effort on both sides today, but Wake Forest really countering. They're not necessarily a top team in the country when it comes to defensive ranks like Pitt is, but doing a really nice job today of limiting these Pitt hitters.
Yeah, and I think this play right here is actually a really good example of just kind of how they're staying in games and competing. It's just being scrappy. You get that up, and then Dior Charles just takes that second ball over.
How about Emma Farrell back there, too? She has been excellent so far today. Middle for Monk. She makes no mistake that time.
Beautiful. Oh, that's a beautiful run, and that's, hey, that starts with the pass. If you can get those in-system passes, those 3-option passes, it's going to allow your whole offense to succeed. Great pass by Klicka.
Yeah, that hitting error from earlier, not something we're used to seeing from her. One of the top in the country in hit percentage. Top 15 nationally there. As Cat Flood comes back in to serve. Outside into the block. Stafford again, a strong swing and another great dig in the back row from Wake Forest. Outside, Stafford. Kill number 2 for her.
It's a great cut shot, too, to go towards 5. And again, it's those one-on-one opportunities that you have to take advantage of. And when the middle is able to come in, great up by Emma Farrell, though. I love her hustle.
She has been really good so
Beautiful
far,
swing.
but can't dig that one out from Stafford, and Cat Flood will continue to serve for the Panthers, up 13-10. Back set out to Babcock. Wade just has to tap that one over to keep it alive. Now a free ball here for the Panthers. Back to the outside with Stafford into the block. We'll try again with Babcock on the outside. Wake stays alive in the middle now. And another great dig on the outside by Mosley. And that one goes out of play, and Pitt will get the point.
These rallies are incredible.
So far.
That's what you want to see, though. Like, this is top volleyball right here. This is what you are looking for in ACC play, especially towards the postseason.
And as we mentioned a little bit earlier, Pitt, a team that's certainly known for their defensive prowess. Second in the nation in opponents' hit percentage with 130, and second in blocks per set, or first in blocks per set, excuse me. But Wake Forest certainly a team playing much better against a really good team in Pitt. And we talked about the connections of both of these teams A lot of players from California on both.
Won ACC Volleyball, and they're both, atop their teams.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the transition as freshmen. A lot of times there's these pretty consistent hiccups. There have been a couple with Stafford and Babcock, probably that Louisville game, the most clear example. But overall, just an extremely strong body of work from both of these players.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked great from the moment they've stepped on campus here at Pitt.
Flood still to serve, a 3-0 scoring run for the Panthers, now up 14-10, getting a little bit of breathing room here in this first set. Wake trying to counter now in the middle, and as we mentioned, Dior Charles right there to pick up the point.
And see, that's going to be important for them. Getting those plays where they can get in system and get their middles involved, that's going to spread the offense and help out the pin hitters a lot.
A lot of freshmen getting consistent playing time. Talking to Randy Smart earlier in the week about this, she credits a lot of these youth coaches and these club systems of really doing a much better job in recent years of getting these players prepared to play at the college level. And speaking of freshmen, there's Olivia Babcock once again for her 4th kill of the afternoon.
Yeah, and they are ready earlier. They're starting to play younger. They're starting to play club younger, which means you're basically playing all year round. So your volleyball IQ and your just kind of experience is so much more than what it was 5-10 years ago.
Babcock back to serve. Man, that thing is a rocket. Goes back over the net there. Wokolo able to finish it off, but Pitt, another chance here. Wokolo kind of shifting to that outside a little bit, and an extremely strong swing from her. Again, maybe one of these players who gets lost in the shuffle a little bit with this Pitt team with so many all-ACC players, but Wokolo, one of the stronger players in the ACC as well. See the serve here from Babcock. Really not much you can do about that.
No, it's so powerful, and like I said, it has a little bit of movement to it. It's so hard to get underneath in time.
There it is again. Mosley, Fairbanks, and Babcock again into the block. Trying Stafford on for size, and she sneaks it into that back right corner. The Wake Forest block, it's been strong today, but Pitt has had a counter in the second part of the first set.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Pitt has actually brought in some reinforcements on defense. They have Emmy Klicka actually playing out of 6 right now, and Logan Mosley in for Vasquez Gomez playing out of the 5 zone.
We'll get a timeout here. As mentioned, sort of Wake Forest starting this first set pretty strong so far. We'll get a challenge there. We're going to challenge if Pitt touched the ball 4 times before sending it over there with Stafford. Didn't see anything initially. This is I feel like this is one of the easier calls to see. See if they maybe had an extra touch. This feels like one of the easier ones to see as opposed to maybe a net violation where you got to get real close in there. So
yeah, and I'm guessing it might have been on, from the cover. There's a lot of girls standing right underneath the hitter, and sometimes, when you throw your arm out there, it could skip off of 2 girls at the same time.
There's been a lot of bodies flying around today on both sides. Just these long extended points makes it a little bit tougher for these reviewers to go back and see exactly where.
And for Coach Smart, it might just be, her also trying to make sure to get a little bit momentum back on their side,
Trying to slow the game down a little bit.
Exactly.
On this scoring run. Take a look at it again here. So they're seeing basically at the front of the net. I think they're checking to see if Wokolo.
So here would be 1. So I'm guessing they were wondering if both Mosley and Klicka both touched that second ball. Would be my guess. Just like I said, if they kind of both hit it at the same time, that would have been their 3rd touch.
Get the ruling here. And Wake Forest does win the challenge.
4 touches.
I'm thinking it might have been on that first block attempt from Wokolo, where she got her arm up and it maybe deflected off of her, but such a long point that it was kind of tough to tell where everything went haywire there, but a good challenge there from Smart. Wake gets a point back to make it 16-12.
Coach Fisher's skeptical. He's skeptical.
So both coaches with a challenge win so far in this first set. And Wake successfully able to stop the run. That's a big challenge win, too. Stafford able to recover there, a little bit disorderly in the back for Pitt, but able to get it over there. Now back to Stafford again. And she capitalized. She's been really strong so far in this first set.
Yeah, and I think what's really benefiting is staying in system right now is really helping her out. That's a great up off the net, too, by Rachel Fairbanks. That's so impressive.
Fairbanks.
And again, look, you know, when you have Emmy a little bit late over there, because she has to stay with the middle, just gives her that extra half a second.
You're going to be hard-pressed to find a more well-rounded player than Rachel Fairbanks in the country.
She is the triple-double queen.
Really strong dig from Klicka. That one almost in play there. An extremely strong swing there from Agoger, but check this out again. Really point blank there, and Klicka able to keep it up somehow, but just kind of fading out of bounds there.
Those overpasses can be dangerous. You got to be ready for that ball to come back fast.
Klicka doing a really nice job so far for Pitt. That's a spot where you really can't have a service error. You're getting some of that momentum back, and then just give away a point there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just one of those things where those little plays add up a lot more against better teams, you know, against a team that might be inferior that you can get away with, but against Pitt, you do not want to do that.
This Wake team accustomed to starting strong, and Pitt returns the favor with a service error of their own. But Wake Forest was up 2-0 over Louisville. Unable to hold on there, just kind of ran out of gas towards the end, but a team that is shown to be able to compete with these top teams in the country.
Yeah, and it almost felt like that was one of those matches where, like, they almost surprised themselves. They were like, how did we do this? And then you get to that third set and kind of panic sets in.
Great block there. Carney able to get her hands on that one along with Dior Charles. And going back to our conversation with Randy Smart earlier on in the week, she talks about how we have to know that we're good enough to hang with these teams, and that block has been a really big part of why Wake has stayed in this set with Pitt to open things up here at the Fitz. Wake will get the point there as Dan Fisher's going to call timeout.
Yeah, they called him for an out of rotation on that left. You know, having those two freshmen leading the way.
Hitting percentage is extremely close in this first set as well. 259 for Wake Forest and 257 for Pitt. And 259, not necessarily a number that jumps off the page initially, but you talk about how good of a team Pitt is defensively. I think if you're Wake Forest, you take that 100% of the time coming into today.
Absolutely. Pitt is so tough to deal with defensively because, for starters, they serve really tough, which gets you out of system. They have a huge front row, and then they have solid behind them defensively, so they are really hard to deal with. So I think you would definitely be happy with 257, or 259, excuse me.
Pitt holding all but two of their ACC opponents this season to under 200. Wake Forest trying to buck that trend here in set number one. Vasquez Gomez a chance on the outside. Pitt's going to get the point there. Seeing a lot of these loose balls at the net fronts. Got a little scrambled at times, but Pitt will take the point there. Sort of get a little bit of that momentum back, go back up 3, now 19-16. Fairbanks to serve. Outside Carney. Another strong swing from her, and the Pittsburgh native continues to impress in this first set.
Yeah, she's playing really well right now and getting really good swings high hands, which those are going to be the hardest to block. You want to be going off the tops of fingertips. You do not want to be swinging at their elbows.
A little trouble here for Pitt. Babcock able to push that one over, but now a chance for Wake Forest. Back to Carney on the outside, but she misses long, and Pitt will go up 3.
And another great up from Fairbanks off of that second ball off of the net. Those are so hard to track. She makes it look really easy, but when it gets caught in the net, you don't know how hard it's going to bounce off or how fast it's going to fall. That's really impressive.
We've seen both sides in this game. All were points where all sort of looks lost, and they just find a way to get it over and steal the point. Mosley outside for Babcock. Not going to miss from there much.
No, and they've got to be glad at this point in the game. Once you get around that 20-point mark, you want her in the front row.
Randy Smart calls another timeout here. We'll take another look. You see the set coming from Mosley back to the outside with Babcock. Leave a lot of open space in the middle of that court open, and Babcock able to take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, her reach is just incredible. Just her ability to contact the ball so high makes it really, really hard to defend.
Such a strong swing from a freshman, too. Just taking really no time to develop into a star player for this Pitt team. And it's not like you're going against opponents in the ACC that are really strong. You're going to see a handful of tournament teams, Wake Forest trying to be one of those. And just these right side hitters for Pitt especially, too, just in years past and on into this year, have just been dominant.
And I think that's something that Coach Fisher has really brought into the program, and you can see just how important these right sides can be. The way I always talk about it, if you have a really good right side, it's like having a really good tight end. You know, at face value, you think, you know, they're there to block, and then they'll do a little bit of offense. But when they can do both at a high level, they are such a weapon. It opens up your offense. It allows you to really kind of set the tone, spread the floor a little bit more. That was one thing Coach Smart had mentioned in our call was, you know, when you look up front and you see 33%, 33%, and 33% in terms of distribution, that is so hard to deal with. And look at these names that Olivia Babcock is joining. Nika Markovic, who was one of like my all-time favorite Pitt players. She was a lefty. She was a baller on the left side or on the right side. And then Shanaza Ende was second on the team for 3 years, but you know, not second behind anyone. Second behind Kayla Lund for 2 years and Lekator member Monet. And then of course last year, plug and play, Courtney Bizzario comes in as a transfer. Just absolute studs on the right side.
I love that analogy with the tight ends because it's one of those things you don't really notice until you've got an athletic one. And that right side for Pitt has been so good lately.
And you kind of just saw it there from Wake Forest. Ava Carney swinging on the right side there just because she was in 2 in her court position. And you just see that athleticism. It opens up the rest of the floor.
Deficit cut down to 3 here in crunch time in set number 1. Kalani Willock to serve. In the middle. And Monk's able to pick up the kill. That's a big point there for Pitt.
That's huge, and in that moment, you really want to get your middles involved. Great pass. And then you get one-on-one on the block, which for Emma, that's basically hitting on an open net with how efficient she is.
Flood into serve again, trying to close out this set number 1. It's been back and forth. Pitt up to over 300 on their hit percentage so far, up to 308 now. After that swing from Monks. Back to the middle. Really nice job there from Dior Charles. Not a lot on that one, but she found the open space and does a job there to cut it down to 3 again.
And sometimes that's what it's about, just finding that little bit of open space on the court.
We've seen a lot of creativity from these Wake Forest hitters so far today. Sometimes going with those off-speed pitches, and they've been effective so far. Hitting .281 against arguably the best defensive team in the country. Babcock. Block able to slow that one down a little bit. Babcock again. Been really effective so far. That's kill number 6 for her.
Yeah, and she's even just really good at a system. Like even that last play is not necessarily the best set, not everything's perfect, and she can still find you kills. And that's what the best hitters do.
.357 hit percentage on the day for Babcock. Serving now. Just so much on that serve. Wokolo a chance on the outside, and Pitt's got set point.
I mean, what a serve. What an incredible serve. And there's a reason that not that many girls can do it, because to bring this type of force, you have to be so strong and so athletic.
Wake Forest on their heels in set number 1. Babcock serving. Free ball over. Nice job to keep it alive, though. Fairbanks outside. Stafford finishes it off set number 1. Pitt wins 25-19. That's a big one for the Panthers. A little bit back and forth all the way through, but able to...
Exactly.
Well.
Keeps everybody honest, so that's whenever you get those, oh, I have to hold, I have to hold, I have to hold before I go block somewhere else.
Fairbanks to serve to start off set number 2 for the Panthers. And she picks up the dig there, keep it alive, and Babcock tools the block there, and Pitt goes up 1-0 early.
Rachel Fairbanks playing really good defense today as well. You know, a lot of these, you know, short tips, roll shots, stuff like that, she's picking up. She's just such a good all-around player. She does so much for this team.
Saw her earlier in her career use more of as an attacking role and sort of has transitioned into that sort of defensive assisting role on that back line maybe a little bit more, but
yeah, I mean, they've kind of transitioned, you know, what you've seen a lot recently from a 6'2", using 2 setters and her as a hitter up front, to that 5'1".
She's really just done a nice job everywhere, as you see. A really strong swing again there from Carney. There's Monks in the middle again.
And that's what it is, you know, 1-1, establish that run game early, feed your middles early on. That's going to keep Dior in there, and she's going to have to hold Emma accountable for every single point.
You got Babcock and Stafford at the front there as well. You got a lot of really good options there if you're Pitt. Outside, another block here from Pitt. Babcock really doing it all so far.
Yeah, and Valeria being one of the best servers on the team, I feel like this is very, you know, on purpose from Coach Fisher to have these 3 up front with her serving. This is a rotation you want to be in for long stretches of time and really try to get your runs here.
Babcock with a bit of a Jordan shrug after the block there. She's feeling it early on. Carney, curveball there.
Nice little change up over the block. Especially because she's been swinging really hard and really well. That usually opens up the, oh, nice little touch over the block. Klicka couldn't get there.
Let's go with another baseball analogy here. Fastball, fastball, curveball. Get the hitters off balance.
Exactly, yeah. That's exactly what you're doing.
Monks. Out to Stafford. A little bit of an off-balance dig there. Wake Forest just unable to get any order there on the return.
Yeah, and that's one of those ones that you're going to want back is Wake Forest. That was a nice up by Carney, and you got to get that ball back over to at least give yourself a chance for that point.
Carney staggering a little bit in the back row there. So Pitt up 4-2, Cat Flood into serve again. Flood, not really a hard person to find on the court with the dual-colored hair.
Not at all.
Charles in the middle, and again, Pitt able to pick up the point. A little bit less order defensively so far here for Wake Forest in set number 2.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of trouble right now finding some rhythm. But great block by Wokolo, sealing up the tape.
It's got to be so frustrating to go up against that Pitt block. You think you got a good attack set up, and then you see that. But able to tool it that time.
Yeah, and you got to think for some of these swings, when you look at kind of how high they're swinging, you know, if that ball's not touched by Olivia Babcock, that ball's going into the bleachers back there. But that's really where you're aiming for when you're trying to get kills high off the block. You're basically aiming for, you know, 30 feet behind the court actually lands.
And with how tall this Pitt front court is, you really got no other option.
Exactly.
Fairbanks, good set on the outside for Babcock. Once again, Wake Forest having a little bit of trouble defensively. Able to get it over, though. Now a free ball for Pitt. Fairbanks set for Wokolo. Unable to get that one over too cleanly, and Babcock regathers here. Stafford. She has been finding the open court really well so far today.
Yeah, she looks great. And that was on a double block, which almost, like, that's even more impressive. She got 2 up there ready to go, and she went to that deep corner, which corners are always a great spot to go to against most defenses.
Seen that a couple times from Stafford. 7 kills for her, 500 hit percentage. We'll take that. Fairbanks back to Stafford. Nice dig there from Baker. And there's the Pitt block. They get the deflection on the way back, so Pitt now up 7-3.
Another block. You see how dominant this team is up front, and I feel like it's just one of those things where it just kind of nags at you. It's really frustrating when you're struggling.
Front for Pitt. You wonder what they're doing well all season. It really helps when you got 2 of the top 10 blockers in all of the country.
Oh my gosh, these 2 are phenomenal, and what they do such a good job of is tracking and really working side to side. You know, they always know where their middle is, but then, you know, once the ball might get set to a pin, they get there so fast. They're so good at closing out the block.
And as you mentioned, having these athletic players up front really helps out. And that's exactly what Pitt's got on their hands.
It's so helpful, especially too when you think about, you know, the middle of that, the block. You almost got to think of it of like the middle of your defensive line. It starts with them, and then you can work your way out, but you need those two to be taking up space, and that's what they do.
Wake to serve, Fairbanks. Nice back set there to Wokolo. And you talk about the diversity of this Pitt team, able to do so much from the offensive side of things. We just talked about Wokolo from a blocks perspective. She's got 3 kills today as well.
Yeah, and this is something that you can do because you have Rachel Fairbanks running a 5-1, and that's use Wokolo to run slides. You can't do that if you have a right side hitter over there, so I think it really helps kind of open up the offense a little bit.
Strong set to the back there. Farrell trying to set something up to get it over. And Crawford able to do just that. Vasquez Gomez, and looks like we're going to get a net violation here, and Pitt will pick up the point.
Yeah, and at this point, specifically in this rotation with the front row setter.
Take a look again here.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, looks like the hands from Baker there.
Yep.
Nice take there from Stafford. Babcock into the block.
Wake Forest needed to get out of that rotation. Yep. When they have that rotation, Baker's in 4, it's already a tough rotation as it is, but they really needed to get out of that to get a little bit of momentum, and hopefully at some point they got to get Paige Crawford going.
Babcock unable to get that one down from the back row. And the Wake Forest block coming up big there to get a little bit of momentum back here in set number 2. A little bit of an error there from Stafford trying to dig that one out.
That's a great serve, though, by Crawford. And you know what? Something like that, it's almost like hitting a free throw to help your jump shot. Like, that might help her in the front row. Get a little bit of confidence in yourself, kind of get back in a groove.
See one go down.
Exactly.
Fairbanks. Ooh, that was nice.
See, that's why you like having that front row setter. They can attack, too.
That was
sneaky. If you're Wake Forest, you're thinking, she goes up, and Carney never moved. You got to go up there with her, and I think you're looking to, you're worrying about Wokolo going slide and kind of work a little too far ahead.
And then you get the service ace. Pitt's got that lead back up to 5, and you feel like they're getting a little bit of momentum back here in this second set.
Wokolo's doing it everywhere right now. Blocks, kills, aces.
Hitting 375 with a block, 3 kills. Wake Forest needs something here. Outside Carney. Well, can't receive that one, and a much-needed point there for Wake Forest.
Yeah, and Pitt oftentimes uses Klicka for one of the middles and a spot server for another, which is usually more so for defense than for the serve. They have great servers, but a lot of times it's just to get that little bit of edge on defense.
11-7 in favor of the Panthers, and another service error here for Wake Forest. That's their 3rd of the afternoon.
And that's tough because you're trying to play this balance. You know Pitt's a good passing team, and if they're in system, they're going to hit what they're hitting right now. But when you're missing serves, it just feels like you're giving up points.
Trying to get a little too fine, you think?
Yeah, because it's like you want to get them out of system so bad, but, how aggressive is too aggressive?
That one out of play. Wake Forest, we talked about that hitting percentage in the first set, up over 270. They're down to under 210 in the game now. Hitting 0 in the second set.
They're really struggling right now to get any sort of offense. I'm thinking if they can get the ball to the middle, you want to do that, but the problem is you have to pass to do that.
Fairbanks, really good serve from her there. Set outside, Vasquez Gomez trying to go in front there, but can't get that one down. Klicka outside for Babcock. And she tools the block again. We've seen that from her a few times now. Wake Forest getting those hands up, but Babcock doing a nice job of still getting those kills where she can get them.
Yeah, when Rachel Fairbanks gets that first ball on defense, it's Klicka taking second hands there, and she's done a really good job of setting up the pins. Run
for the Panthers now. Charles trying to poke that one over. Wake Forest going back to Kearney. And then Babcock. Good dig again there from Torrance. Another long point here. Vasquez Gomez trying to finish it off. She can't though, and free ball goes over for Vasquez Gomez, but
net violation. Yeah,
they're going to call a net violation there. As Pitt does pick up another point, extending that scoring run to 4-0 now.
Coach Smart is asking some questions there. She might be thinking about a challenge.
And we'll see. See this net front here. Yeah, it looks like up front Baker potentially got her hands on the net there again. They'll challenge it. And it looks like she might have hit the hand of Vasquez Gomez on the way down as well. But it looks like she got her hand on that net there from that look.
I think her left hand might have hit the net.
Yeah.
Top of the tape there.
Again, might be one of those times if you're Randy Smart just to try and slow things down a little bit. You know, you get a lottery ticket at winning a challenge, and at the same time you kind of talk to your team and regroup a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Steal that point back.
Certainly looks like a net violation.
I definitely think she hit. I'm seeing the net move, so that's usually telling me that there is a violation.
Yeah, good look there.
Yeah.
And wow. So they do win the challenge. And Wake Forest cuts it down to 6 now at 14-8.
That's a big one to win. Yeah, that's big.
Surprised to see that one overturned.
I'm really surprised to see that overturned.
Back to play here. Babcock once again tools the block.
And that's what you want to do when you lose a challenge. You want to come right back with a perfect pass, right in system. Nine
kills now for Babcock. Big 350 now through 2 sets. Really nice serve there from Vasquez Gomez, right in front of Kearney, but she can't move in time to get that one dug. And another service ace here for the Panthers. That's their 3rd of the afternoon.
And Valeria is one of the top servers on the team, and just look at that. That draw, it's like a knuckleball. You don't know where it's going to go. You think it's coming right at you, and then at the last second, it's going to dive off.
Can't do it again there, though. Service error. Both teams have struggled with that a little bit at times in this match. And Wake able to get one back. Vasquez Gomez so far 4 kills for her. And now Kearney to serve for Wake Forest. In the middle for Monks. And that one wide.
And that's a good miss there. I mean, it's a good run, missing a little off to the side. You can live with that as a coach. You know, that's a good pass, good set. If it's aggressive, you're going to be able to live with those ones.
Kearney again, who's got 7 kills on the day for the Demon Deacons. Stafford. Between her and Babcock, they're doing a really nice job of tooling that block up front from Wake Forest.
Yes, and that's what's crazy is normally you would think that's something that would take time for them to get comfortable with at this level and playing other girls who are as big as they are, but they're just so comfortable already. They look so good, hitting high hands, moving the ball around.
It's like we were talking about earlier. Their high school team was essentially a college team playing in high school, so you're not going to get that same level of competition. So you wonder if there's any adjustment period, and it really just seems like there hasn't been.
No, it seems like they've stepped in and just been ready to go on the court immediately. I mean, the 2 top hitters on the team. And it's impressive, too, because, you know, it's 1 outside, 1 right side. And then you kind of look at the numbers with Monks and Wokolo in the middle, and you think that's a big reason why. That's opening it up for them.
So Olivia Fish on the kill there for Wake Forest, and Wokolo returns the favor. Again, just finding the open space, doing the simple things right so far as Pitt.
Yeah, and I mean, it's almost getting overlooked how good Fairbanks is at distributing the ball. I mean, that actually wasn't a perfect pass, and that was a perfect set to the middle.
2 assists now for Fairbanks as that one goes long. Another service error here from the Panthers. Wake Forest picks up the point, gets within 6 now. 5 service errors for the Panthers. That's one area, if you were to pick something about this match so far where Pitt could clean up a little bit, it's probably there from the service line.
For sure, and now we have Lexis Akeo in, which looks like she's going to be setting right now, so Fairbanks is going to be swinging outside, at least for 1.
Akeo in the middle, and she picks up the assist right away with Wokolo picking up the kill. Boy, Wokolo's playing real well so far.
Yeah, and you know, that connection right there from Akeo to Wokolo is one of those that, you know, as them both being seniors, we've seen that for years in the best years of program history.
Wokolo, a block, a service ace, 4 kills, hitting .444. Good afternoon so far for her. Outside here with Crawford. Now Stafford in the middle. With another chance here with Vasquez Gomez. A really nice swing from her. That finds the court to make it 20-12.
Yeah, great shot there with a little bit of cut on top of it.
Go to that Wake Forest attack. You think they might need a little bit more out of it. Looking to try and claw back into this one today. You see the discrepancy there in hit percentage in sets. Not going to win a lot of sets getting out hit 417-43.
No, and that kind of the same way that serving starts your defense for the other side of the offense. That's serve receive. You've got to get serve receive in system and then be able to work from there. And again, get the middles involved a little bit, and then got to give Paige Crawford a couple.
Yes.
And like you said, even before the end of this set, if you can get her maybe 2 kills, that would be great looking forward.
Crawford hitting -143 so far, trying to get that number up as we head down the stretch run in set number 2. Ogover in the middle. And it looks like they're going to call a net violation on the Panthers, so Wake gets the point there. So it'll be Crawford to serve.
Yeah, and I think this is a good time to get Kearney back on the front row, especially while Crawford's struggling a little bit, but she was serving well. This is a good time to get her back.
Kearney 7 kills so far for her on the afternoon. Middle for Wokolo. And whoa, that was Pitt kind of celebrating the point there while it's still going on, and Wake Forest able to counter. I don't think Dan Fisher's going to love that one.
Coach Fisher, no coach loves that. When you're celebrating a little bit too early, nobody loves that. It was a nice little tip too, but then it was just a great play after that.
How about Ryan Baker keeping that one off the court?
Keeping it up, exactly.
Pitt turned around, and by that point, Baker had her palm under it on the floor and able to pick up a big point here to cut it to 6. Panthers trying to counter. Vasquez Gomez once again.
She has such a powerful swing.
Yeah.
Just her wind-up, and she's had that since day one when she came here. She had such a good swing from the beginning, but I really love how she has developed in every other facet of the game. She's become a great server. She's probably one of the best on the team. She's also done a good job in serve receive, which is huge. When you're an outside and you play 6 rotations, you do not want to be a liability in serve receive. I love how she has developed, and Pitt gets 1 more year with her.
Here's Dylan Griffin to serve for the Panthers. First time we've seen her today. Ryan Baker trying to pull a Fairbanks there. To the middle now into that Pitt block. Not sure if that hit the net or got into the block, but either way, Pitt picks up the point.
Yeah, actually, I think that hit the net. I think she's just, she's struggling to find any type of momentum right now. And with the front row setter, you only have 2 hitters up front, so you're going to need her a little bit as an outlet.
Griffin to continue her service here. Pitt 3 points away from securing set number 2. Kearney able to find it there on the outside. Kearney picks up kill number 8.
That was a beautiful swing down the line.
Yeah.
Absolutely ripped it.
It's been a strong homecoming for her so far.
And that's a great set right outside the blocker's hands.
As Pitt will challenge it, so Dan Fisher asking to take another look here.
So I think that ball might have just missed outside.
Yeah, we don't have a great view of it over here. It's across the court from us, but it looked like it was really close down the line there with Carney. We'll get another look here. See Akeo ranging over to try and get that one, but I think that caught the line.
I think it did.
That's real
so
tight,
close.
though.
That is so
close. That is really tight.
And it's tough, too, because like with what Akeo's taught, she's taught, put your right foot on that line for defense. Anything to your right, do not touch. And that is what she did, but
you got to get the note card out for that
exactly.
one.
Just might have painted that line a little bit.
Such a thin margin there. Great look from our crew again, by the way. That was really close down the line. The call will be confirmed. So Wake Forest able to retain the point there. Dan Fisher having another conversation with the officials maybe here. A little bit of a puzzled look on his face, but that's one you kind of go either way with how close that one was.
Yeah, that one's tough. That one's really tough to overturn.
It's still up 7. Just 3 points away from going up 2-0. Ogogo to serve. Vasquez Gomez. Now Baker outside to Carney again. Pitt keeps it alive. Vasquez Gomez, real strong swing from the middle. And Pitt will pick up the point there.
That's nice hustle there, too, on defense. Again, one of those things that really separates some of these teams from being good and great is these scrappy type of plays.
Looks like we got a net violation there.
Yeah.
Up front, it looks like with Charles. Serve from Fairbanks. Outside and Pitt picks up the point there. It looked like Babcock really ranged over to get that one, and it sets up set point once again for the Panthers.
That block was so nice. She didn't even allow it to get over.
I was going to say, gave that one no chance.
Not a shot.
Fairbanks serving for the set, and she picks up the ace to put Pitt up 2-0. 25-19 in the first, 25-15 in the second, and Pitt with a commanding lead heading into set number 3, Kelsey.
And that's really the difference is what you saw in that last point. You're actually taking away a hitter by running a 5-1, but they're all 5 so good, and they can be used in so many different ways.
Pitt trying to pick up yet another sweep this season. We talked about in the open how that's really been their calling card so far, but Wake Forest getting the first point of set number 3, trying to establish a little footing for the first time in this match.
And that was Olivia Fish, who was a freshman who was playing a lot before Ashley Slater was injured, and I really liked what she could do, so maybe they're just looking for a little spark.
In the middle with Monks. She evens it up at 1. Fish, as you mentioned, a bit of a fascinating story for her. She's got 3 games this season with 10-plus kills, but she's been pulled back a little bit lately, as you mentioned, on the attacking side of things especially.
Yeah, and a little bit that I was watching her, I really liked what she was doing, so maybe, you know, Coach Smart was looking for her to just get a little bit of experience, maybe watch and learn, and then get back in there.
That one out of play. It'll pick up the point there. Really not many people better to sit behind than Ashley Slater to see how it's done.
Yeah, exactly. Coach Smart was so excited to get her back for a reason, and she might have, you know, just had that conversation with Olivia. Like, there will probably be more opportunities, but, you know, why don't you take a step back a little bit, learn, observe.
Another service ace here for the Panthers.
And I really like where they're serving right now, which is in that 1 zone. And the reason I like it is because with the back row setter, it makes it really difficult because she's trying to run past Carney to get up to her X, and then the ball is flying right at her.
Vasquez Gomez in the middle for Charles, who misses long. And Pitt goes up 4-1. Charles, someone who struggled a little bit as of late. Came into this one hitting sub 100 in her last 3 matches, where she's had at least 10 attacks. We'll be back in a minute here from Pittsburgh. 4-1 lead for the Panthers, trying to secure the sweep here.
This is really that time of the year where you cannot drop one of these games.
Yeah.
You know, you have to make sure that your resume is stacked so that your ranking is nice and high. You want to be a host site, so you got to make sure that you are playing really well at the right time, which is the end of the season.
Especially when you're in the same conference as Louisville. who's just been so good.
Yeah, and part of that too is even just like the little bit of luck with, staying healthy. Yeah. That's all the things you need to make a deep postseason run.
There's Monks again in the middle. Believe it or not, she's been a little off today, hitting just 182. Still 5 kills for her, but we're used to seeing that hitting percentage for her up near 400. And the fact that Pitt has really taken a stranglehold of this match without her from the offensive side of things, just another testament to their depth.
Yeah, and I feel like that has to give all of the hitters kind of that sigh of relief, that they know even if I don't have my best day, we still have a good shot of winning because there's 4 others that can kind of back me up.
Wake, a team so far this season that's struggled a little bit in the later sets. Down 6-1 here in the third. Block there from Monks. Chance here for Carney on the outside. Good dig there from Fairbanks. Klika can't recover though, and Wake cuts that lead down to 6-2.
And they really needed to get out of that rotation. They really needed to just get forward. Hopefully Paige Crawford can get something going here in this third set. Because that kind of is what we talked about with Pitt, where you can lean on others. They've been leaning on her for so much of this year.
Carney with 9 kills, really carrying the load for this Wake Forest team. Next closest is Charles with 4. There is Charles, unable to get it over Monks there. And Stafford returns it right back over. Lori Stafford getting a little creative there as well.
I love it.
Double digits for her. That's her 10th kill. Doing a really nice job here. You see the back set there from Fairbanks.
That's an incredible cover.
It's like just
again, that's like an offensive rebound. You just gave yourself another chance to win the point.
Yeah. Klika, again, maybe not someone who shows up in the stat sheet all that much, but just been so good here for the Panthers this season. Also, Stafford's hitting 500, so that's not too bad either. Strong swing there on the outside.
She needed that one. She needed that one.
It's Crawford's third. 16 attacks. Still in the negative when it comes to hit percentage, but Crawford trying to get her footing here in set number 3. Fairbanks to Stafford.
They cannot stop that, and she is contacting the ball so high. It's really hard to defend at that level. And I mean, she's 6'2", but she has a really, really good vertical as well.
Match not over yet, but one of the stronger performances we've seen from Stafford all season long, and that is saying something. There's Babcock with a laser just long. I tell you what, if Olivia Babcock can fine-tune that serve a little bit, you look down the road and maybe next year or the year after, how do you stop it?
It's going to be dangerous. And they're going again with a KO, pulling Babcock out for the back row, so they're going into a 6-2, using Rachel Fairbanks as a hitter now.
Here's Ava Torrance, graduate student from Avon, Indiana, transferred from Purdue following the 2022 season. And Wake picks up the point there, that one just out. Going back to Torrance, though, played in 23 matches last season after a relatively limited usage in her first 3 seasons. And one of these people who's really provided a veteran presence, has hit the transfer portal, has really experienced it all in college volleyball.
Yeah, and Coach Smart was raving about her on our call. She was talking about how much she loves their plus-minus with her in, which is not a stat you hear a ton in volleyball, but just says she makes such a huge impact on the court.
You see the digs percentage, the digs per set up from her time at Purdue. She's been a really productive member here for Wake Forest on the back row. Able to tool the block again, and Wake Forest kind of climbing back into this set a little bit.
Yeah, that starts with that nice pass there. It gets them going and allows Emmy to go ahead and run that slide.
Here's Crawford to serve. Wake Forest still down 3, but looking a little bit better here in this third set. But Vasquez Gomez puts a stop to that run.
And she's just been such a nice go-to, just kind of with that leadership and her experience. So just, when we need a kill, she can get that ball out to her and she'll go high hands off the block. And she has a really high percentage with that shot.
Wokolo to serve now. Feels like every time Wake Forest is getting a little bit closer, Pitt just does something to close off that momentum. And Wake Forest trying to get it back here.
If you're Pitt, that's not a tip you want to let drop.
It's Carney again. She's into double digits now with 10. 26 total attacks for her. 192 hit percentage so far, so maybe not jumping off the page in that regard, but they've been feeding her so much. She's kind of kept them afloat from an attacking standpoint. Fairbanks into the block. Able to tool that one, though, and Fairbanks continues an extremely strong afternoon.
Yeah, and for Wake Forest, we're seeing Olivia Frankie for the first time in play today. She was getting a lot of time at the beginning of the year in the middle, and then Dior Charles kind of stepped in as a freshman, kind of took away a little bit of that playing time.
Fairbanks. Farrell. Looking back to the outside with Babcock. Nice dig, but that one's going to go into the stands. And again, you see the strength of Olivia Babcock just paying off continuously here. Just might get some hands on it, but still just unable to contain that strength.
That's what it is. It's a combination of everything. Right outside the right hands there. I mean, it's so hard to deal with because she's strong, but she's also really smart with her shots. Net violation.
That's going to be a net violation, like you said, and Wake Forest picked up the point. Babcock really feels like one of those players who you could kind of throw into any sport and she'd be good at it. Like
for sure.
She's done so well for Pitt, and it's just her athleticism is just off the charts, and just the strength that she has on her swing is something you don't see a lot, even at this level of college volleyball.
I completely agree.
Monks in the middle. Strong swing from her there. She's up to 7 kills, and Emma Monk's hit percentage was lower earlier on. She's getting it back up now.
And look at that pass. Perfect pass. Fairbanks able to run the offense nice and easily.
Monk's up to 308. One of 4 Pitt players with 7 or more kills. Strong swing there from Carney, but nice job by Vasquez Gomez to dig that one out. Fairbanks trying to get it over there, but unable to do so.
Nice hustle. That's great hustle, especially because she was out of system on the second ball for the set, and then she was there still for coverage.
Wake Forest stealing some points here, and it's now 13-9. A score that Pitt fans certainly resonated with for football-related reasons. Once again, strong serve there from Wake Forest, and all of a sudden they're within 3. Dan Fisher now having a conversation with the official. He's not happy about something.
I think he thinks that whistle was a little bit too early before the play was officially done. In which case, he's going to be looking for a replay on that point, regardless of if he thinks they were going to win it. If there was an inadvertent whistle, their whistle was blown too early, he wants that shot at a replay.
Safe to say he's not a happy camper about this.
Nope.
Take a minute to break here. Wake kind of battling back in this third set, hitting 286, but Pitt hitting 500. We'll take a look again. Listen for the whistle here as well. Ooh, that was early.
It was early.
He's got a case there.
No, the up ref is not trusting just how athletic Rachel Fairbanks is and her ability to get a second touch on every single ball.
And granted, the point wasn't looking great for Pitt to begin with, but that's an early whistle there. And I think Dan Fisher's got a good argument there.
Yeah, because that's what's hard. It's Pitt may not have won that point, but if the whistle was early, it should be a replay.
Yeah.
Because it's really not about what happened after it. It's, the play was not over.
So continuing this conversation, we'll finally take a break. And Wake will keep the point and serve. Down 13-10. Here's Carney. Outside Babcock gets another one there. Olivia Babcock up to 11 to match Stafford's match high. Tying her with Carney as well.
And I like how they responded there. You know, they kept their composure. All the girls on the floor remained focused. That's what you want out of your team. Even when stuff goes a little haywire, you want them to remain focused no matter what.
Yeah, definitely want to stay focused on the macro, especially when you have a commanding lead in this match, just as Pitt does. Flood, good serve there. Outside into the block from Crawford. Once again, the block coming up big. Fish trying to get it over there, but to no avail. Thanks to, once again, Chiamaka Wokolo up front.
Yeah, working overtime right now to get side to side to be up on both of these blocks. Which is why you want somebody that's mobile and athletic in the middle.
Wokolo along with Fairbanks. You see these numbers in the box score really just coming up everywhere and all the different columns for the statistical categories. He's doing a really good job so far today. Fairbanks outside. Stafford. Farrell keeps it alive once again outside to Fish. Nice play from her there to get it over the block and down.
That's a really nice roll shot. Good change up there.
She's been impressive.
She is, and I've seen a lot of good things out of her, and I think it's just about maybe, you know, maybe Coach Smart wants to get her some extra touches. She likes Ashley Slater's experience, but when you need a spark, that's not a bad backup to have.
Yeah. Farrell. Serving Wokolo, strong swing in the middle.
Probably the best way to beat any defense is speed, and that's what you have there. She's coming in so fast. That ball is barely crossing the top of the tape whenever she's hitting it. It's so hard to defend.
Coach Smart having a bit of a conversation with the officials here, and looks like we're going to get another challenge. Kind of going back and forth with these challenges so far.
And hey, they've worked for Coach Smart, so if I'm her, I'm going to keep using them.
Both coaches having some success challenging. See if this ball was in, I believe, on that far side of the court. Once again, we weren't at a great angle for this, unfortunately, so.
Yeah, we need more challenges on the near side.
Yeah, right. Thoughts?
I mean, I feel pretty good about that, right? I feel like I've been wrong on all the rest, but I think I'm going to go out on a limb again.
This should be a quick review here. Unless we're just missing something, and the call will be confirmed. That was a weird one.
That might have been a way to just, you know, maybe an extra, you know, get an extra timeout in there.
Getting later into the set.
You know, it's kind of like, oh, tie your shoes. Let's take a second.
Yeah.
Kind of like one of those.
Coach Smart kind of laughing about it over there. Really enjoyed talking to her earlier on in the week. She feels like one of those college coaches who you really would enjoy playing for. Just a fun person to talk to, and she knows her stuff about volleyball and how this program is developing.
Yeah, she was awesome. And what I love, too, is how she's so aware of what she wants to do with the program and how she needs to change that culture from, you know, just being a team that is okay with, you know, not being the best, not making postseason to, okay, now we're competing, and now it's time for us to take that next step, get to the postseason, start challenging these teams atop the ACC. And I really think she's going to do that with this team.
Outside Fairbanks, really good dig there from Farrell to keep it alive. Wake Forest once again able to get it back over. Wokolo in the middle. Farrell again on the receiving end. Akeo now, Mosley. Outside Fairbanks trying to finish it off, and she does. Or does she?
That was up.
Back over to Klicka, unable to dig, and Wake Forest wins one of the more incredible points you're going to see.
That was incredible.
Oh.
I mean, Emma Farrell and Ava Torrance are working overtime right now for Wake Forest.
Let's take a look at all this again. Great dig there from Farrell initially. Wake somehow keeps it alive. And then Farrell again. I mean, it felt like this point was over 6 different times. And Pitt's going to challenge to see if that ball was down. It was certainly really close. Had me fooled up here.
And what you got to appreciate, too, just the fight they're continuing to show in this third set. Coach Smart has to love that.
I mean, you're down 2-0 against a top 10 team in the country. It's pretty easy to just kind of get the buses started and get your way out of here. But Wake Forest continuing to fight here in this third set.
Exactly, and that's, I think, part of that too. Part of that culture switch is you have to be willing to fight to the very end.
We'll see about this review here. It was certainly close there on that final dig. But well, like we were talking about, just one of those teams that just keeps fighting and won't go away in this match so far. We'll take another look here. I think she got it.
That one's going to be a really hard one to overturn.
I think she got her hand down under that.
And what's tough, too, about the pancake is sometimes it can be one of those things where it's touching some of your hand, but also touching a little bit of the floor.
Yeah.
But, of course, like if I'm the one digging that up, I'm screaming up immediately. You know, I want everyone to know that I definitely dug that ball.
Yeah, kind of getting at the microscope for that one there. Once again, another close call we've seen in review here. Care to make a prediction, Kelsey?
Have I been wrong every time? Oh, you know, I'll stick with it. I think it's up. Is there enough to overturn it is kind of always what I think.
I'll agree with you. I think this is up. But it is so close.
It's so close.
It looks like some of her hand is definitely under the ball, but like you said earlier, it's possible that some of the ball got down as well. But going off of the initial call, I think this is just really tough to overturn, given that angle and what we can see of how much the ball was down there. But a pivotal point here in the third set.
It's such a big point right now. Because if you're Wake Forest and you get this back, you got to be feeling really good. But if you're Pitt, you're thinking, let's go up. Let's go up by another one, and let's seal this game out.
So you're going with ball up. I will as well. Which I'm not sure is something Wake Forest fans want to hear, unfortunately, based on our track record earlier on.
Right.
So you see the tip there. Another angle here. I think it's up.
Oh, that's a great angle right there.
Crew doing a great job today with these looks. We've gotten a couple looks down the line.
And they're working overtime too, all of these challenges.
That was a close one. So this is a long review. I feel like this favors Wake Forest in the longer review just because it's definitely something they're looking at, and I think they're determining if there's enough to overturn the call, but
exactly.
We'll see. And it's going to stand up. And against all odds, Kelsey and I get a correct review prediction.
Look at us go. We don't need to look at the percentages, though.
Yeah, we'll just isolate it there.
Exactly, yeah. Just stick to recency bias.
Yep. You look at Baker on the afternoon so far today, 17 assists and doing a really nice job defensively. They've had some times in this match where they haven't been fantastic, but at the same time, against this Pitt attack, they've performed relatively well so far.
Oh, for sure.
Outside strong swing and an even stronger dig there from Makeo. Back to the outside with Stafford over the block. Change up there from Crawford. Pitt, time to regather. Fairbanks the swing. Nice dig out of the back row there from Willock. Kept alive again, and Pitt will get the point. It's Rachel Fairbanks again.
And I mean, you see Emmy Ogogar smiling. That ball, I'm pretty sure it did hit her right in the head off of that. Which happens sometimes. That happens in volleyball. But Rachel Fairbanks just doing it all, especially now that they moved to the 6-2. Now she's getting some kills.
Double-double. 30 assists, 10 digs. Another strong swing from Crawford, countered out of the back row from Pitt. Vasquez Gomez goes long, but off the tip.
And that's kind of a good example of what you're looking for.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to land in play. You're just looking for those high hands.
Like you were saying, aiming over, but able to get those hands like you were saying and get a big kill there for the Panthers. Now at 5 here. Trying to secure yet another sweep on the season. As we mentioned, second in D1 with 17 sweeps so far. Nice dig again from Klicka. Stafford keeps it alive, and Vasquez Gomez gets it over. Another great defensive effort from the Panthers. But there's Crawford, and that one's down. Pitt thought it was still alive for a second there, but I think that one found the ground.
I agree. I think it found the ground as well. What a great dig and save, though.
Boy.
Nice touch there. Tori Stafford with the hustle.
The reaction time of Klicka, but a great play here from Crawford to just kind of poke that one over, and that one clearly did land, so no need to review that one. Wake Forest serving down 4, and you can't have that one there.
That's not great timing for that.
Wicket comes off for the Panthers. Wokolo to serve. It's the 5th service error of the afternoon for Wake Forest. And like we've seen a few times so far, Pitt returns the favor.
Yeah, and I think that's her second missing deep right after another miss. And that's like kind of one of those like serving rules. If the other team miss, you don't want to miss back.
Make them return it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it is better to miss deep than into the net because they might play it.
Here's a Gober.
Oh,
boy.
3 straight.
Haven't seen a return in a little bit now.
We started out the game with those great rallies. That's what I want to get back to.
And you don't want to jinx Rachel Fairbanks here, but she's trying to avoid making it 4 service errors in a row, and she does. Carney, really strong swing there. She's got a dozen.
She's looked really good today. Really good control. She looks really composed for being a freshman as well.
The homecoming for Carney. Brother plays basketball just a few miles away there at Duquesne. Father also attended Robert Morris, so a lot of local connections for her. Outside, Babcock, that's as good as it gets. Cross court there from her to pick up kill number 12.
And when she's in 4 and gets the swing on the outside, you've got to love it. That's over the block.
Whew.
The block cannot do anything there.
Pitt 4 points away. Now 3 points away.
And that's an illegal back row attack because Ryan Baker was back row.
It's been some of the simple things so far for Wake Forest today. Service errors, attacking errors. But on the Pitt side of things, it's been a lot of good things to look at offensively. 423 hit percentage in this set. And they have been really strong from the attacking side of things today.
Yeah, and everyone's doing it. Everyone is contributing, and that's what you want to see. And those are the type of teams that are dangerous in the NCAA tournament. You know, you don't just have one girl who's doing all of the work. You have 5 girls that can get double-digit touches and double-digit kills on any game. Where they're serving tough, they're passing really well, which is really what leads to the offense. You know, for me, serve receive is like that offensive line.
Yeah.
You don't notice it when everything else is happening and they're firing, you know, on the outsides and on the right side. But when they're struggling, then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what's going on with the offense? What happened here?
The Kelsey football analogy counter is now at 4. Fairbanks. Quick to the outside with Babcock. She's unstoppable right now.
And honestly, I think it's really underrated how hard that ball is to hit as a right-handed player on the right side with the ball coming from Emmy Klicka behind her. It's really hard to track from that angle.
Vasquez Gomez, Pitt 2 points away. Once again, there's Fish tooling the block. Kill number 4 for her.
That's a good day for the minimal time she's seen.
That's 4 kills on 7 total attacks for her. Snaps a 3-0 Pitt scoring run and keeps Wake with a pulse here in set number 3. Carney to serve. Fairbanks. Babcock and the block. But that one will land on the Wake Forest side, so now we got match point for the Panthers. Babcock, kill number 14 on the afternoon for her.
Pitt looking to get the brooms out again.
Everybody on their feet here at the Fitz. Cat Flood to serve for the match. Pitt trying to bring out the brooms once again. In the middle. Outside with Fish again. She tools the block and Wake Forest stays alive. Fish looking really good so far today.
Yeah, and on both sides of the pin too. You know, when she's in the 4 zone and she's swinging outside, she's looked good. But her home base is on the right side, and she's really doing a good job of moving the ball around and using Pitt's block. Emma Farrell serving now.
Mosley, Fairbanks, Wokolo! Curtains for the Panthers. 25-19 in the first, 25-15 in second, and 25-18 in the third. And there is another sweep here at home for Pitt.
And just another good example of